This is the first of 2 lectures in moving beyond the text, social media in visual form. So a couple of key platforms that I really recommend knowing how to use are YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram. Because we're working primarily not on mobile today, we're going to focus mostly on what you can do from your desktop. So YouTube and Pinterest today. But it's important to know that images are increasingly important for social media spread. It's hard to get something to really spread without an image, with the exception of maybe on Twitter, but even then you want to have images. Let's talk about YouTube. There are a couple of key questions: what kind of content to have, how to host your own channel. There's a key reason for having YouTube, and this is because it's owned by Google. It's got massive search engine optimization. So if you are able to use key search words, your organization may be found very quickly from a YouTube video. So this is a key opportunity to draw attention to your organization when your website may be buried due to Google. So YouTube is a really key way of drawing attention to your site. After all, there are more than 1 billion unique users in a month, and it's a really incredible way of reaching 18 to 34-year-olds. So this is a good way to reach out to new audiences. So since you have to be search engine optimized anyway, and you have to be relevant, YouTube is a great choice. So the first step is making it look good and setting it up. I think it's worth looking at a couple of real winners on YouTube. And what these people have done, what these organizations and brands have done, is set up channels. Channels are where you can host your own content, create backgrounds and branding and your own visuals and your own pictures, and really make a statement. It's almost like a web page within YouTube. So this becomes a place where you can host all of your own videos and you can design it. So I think Coca-Cola does a really amazing job with this. In fact, if you want to look for ideas for branding, Coca-Cola is usually what I suggest is a first stop for really thinking about branding generally. And I think Coca-Cola does a particularly good job because it has 50 years of incredibly compelling commercials that you can just watch over and over again. So there's a real reason to come to Coca-Cola's YouTube page. So you can see their videos, you can see the keywords they've used, and you can see things that bring together a community of people who are interested in Coca-Cola. So what are you going to do? The first thing you're going to do is click on the icon of your logo or yourself in the corner, and you will get to your dashboard. This is the starting point for the customization of your YouTube page. You're going to see something on the side that's going to say, add channel art, describe your channel, add web links, add a clear description, and don't miss key updates. So these are all things we're going to work on to make sure that your YouTube page becomes something unique and important to you. So you're going to add some advanced and enhanced stuff like keywords. You're going to learn how to control advertisements. You're going to create a custom URL, and you're going to learn how to put in a Google Analytics tracker and figure out whether you want to add AdWords. So before you do anything, you need a Google Plus account. Google Plus and YouTube work hand in hand. This is how you get an image for yourself to be hosted on YouTube. It's basically, you cannot have a YouTube account or a YouTube channel without Google Plus. It's way Google gets you sucked into their social network. Google Plus, for other reasons, is useful to have. It's also incredibly search engine optimized. It doesn't really work particularly well as a social network in terms of the way we've talked about social networks because nobody's really using it. But sometimes people like to use Google Plus to get a link sort of posted really high up online. Anyway, you're going to need a Google Plus account, so go ahead and set that up. So on your dashboard, the place we're going to start is you're going to go to your channel settings. Then you're going to click on Advanced. What you're going to see is you're going to see a picture, whatever icon you've chosen for Google+. This may also be your Gmail account picture. So you can change that, okay? And you can manipulate that. You can change the name that you've assigned to it. So you can change the name, your name in this situation. So play with that, figure out what sort of settings you want there. This is really important. You can choose the channel keywords. So be very careful because this is going to help search engine optimize your site. So for me, for whatever reason, I used media sociology because that is what I do. Not particularly search engine optimizable. Don't know how many people are looking for media sociology. However, if they do, they're going to find me. So make sure you choose something that's going to really get to the keywords of what you do. So your organization's mission, if it's to work with the environment or energy or politics, put those things down in describing your channel keywords. You're also going to have an opportunity to select whether you want your videos to have advertisements. I think for most organizations who are trying to promote their messages, it's really not worth having advertisements. So I would say to turn off advertisements, which means that if you're looking to add AdWords, which is a way to sort of monetize those advertisements, just don't have them. It doesn't make sense. So I would stay away from advertisements unless, of course, you happen to be a media company or a content company really looking to make money off of your digital content. In your account settings, and if you go to Overview and then Advanced, you're going to see some really important things. So you're going to see something called your channel settings, and that will show you the distinct URL for your YouTube channel. It's going to be really long and unwieldy, and we're going to change that. Then you're going to see your YouTube account number and your YouTube channel ID. You're going to need to know what those are in order to get yourself a particular tracking number for Google Analytics. So I'm not going to show you how to set up Google Analytics right now because you're going to learn that in a lesson with Professor Glickman. But what you need to know is this is where you're going to go to get that critical information. So you are going to go to this advanced page and begin to manipulate that channel settings URL. How are we going to get a new URL? So that URL is really complicated. And if you'd like a simpler URL, you can add a custom URL to your channel. So these are the steps you're going to take. Make sure you're signed into YouTube through your Google+, and go to your advanced account settings. Under channel setup, create custom URL. Then you'll get to choose the URL that you like, and you can't choose a URL that is somebody's already. But again, be careful what this URL is going to be. It's going to be a distinguishing way for your organization, so make it something that people are actually going to think of when they think of your organization. And once you've chosen your custom URL, you're going to get that custom URL in your YouTube channel. So it'll look like youtube.com.user and custom URL. So you're going to see that handle. Sometimes people like to use their organization name. Some people like to use the name of their website. So it depends, but I urge you to use something that's memorable. So how are you going to actually edit the description on a video? How do you make that YouTube video search engine optimizable, findable, and understandable? So this is where you're going to go into Video Manager and click Edit. So when you go to Video Manager, you're going to see text underneath the video under Basic Info that you can actually manipulate. So there'll be some automatic text there with YouTube describing what it thinks is in the video. And you can just simply go in there and create a new description using good keywords, and that signals to your audience what is actually in that video, but also keeps in mind the kinds of things that Google is going to show up. So the other thing that you will see in the Video Manager is how many times people have watched the video, and so you'll start to get a sense of some of the analytics of the video. So what kind of content should you add? I would say consider excerpts of 30-second clips. I would consider moving beyond just talking at the audience. I would consider behind the scenes kinds of things. I would consider thinking about things that people actually want to talk about, actually want to see. Think about ways to attract the audience to the content with titles that are interesting and search engine friendly. You need to, though, decide how you want to police and address comments. If you've ever been on YouTube, you will see that the comments are unmoderated and often very nasty. So you need to figure out what you're going to do with those comments, if you want them deleted, if you want them to be moderated, if you want to respond to them. So you really need to figure out how you want to police those comments. Probably the most important thing I can urge you to do is to create a schedule for posting content. You don't want your last video on your YouTube site to be from a year ago. You want to regularly have something going up, even if it's just once or twice a month. You want people to see that you are steadily posting new content. Talks are a great place to get content, even though it's just, talking at the audience. If you can clip it down to 30 seconds, people might understand what your current message is. So those are some ways to think about content. So we've gone over how to set up the channel and some ideas about content. And from this, you have a basic introduction of how to use YouTube.